This Euro Qualifier and South America World Cup Qualifying edition of the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog has just added Pick'em Scorches, where you can win 100x. That's right, turn $5 into $500 in one game. Plus, every Sunday, they're giving away $100,000. Use the promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $500. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Last minute tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. We're brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. And don't forget, we're giving away $3,000 in our NFL Second Chance Survivor contest presented by Corey Pinkston and Barking Dog Properties. Free to enter. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. I like waiting until that little diddly-diddly-dee bit starts, Baz. I don't like knocking it off until that happens. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, enjoying the diddly-dees in Newcastle upon Tyne, the northeast of England. Today is, I have got no idea, the 17th. 15th. The 5th Sunday, definitely, the 15th of October. And we are here to have a sniff around what's went down since we last spoke on Thursday. And then we're going to have a look at some more Euro Qualifiers happening on Monday and Tuesday. And there's some South American stuff as well. We thought we'd go a little bit exotic. Joining me is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Hello, Barry. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm just
right. Well, okay. Before you start, I'm going to set the scene here, Barry. So I spoke to you at lunchtime today, just before we did the NFL pre-game sausage-based fiasco, and you did nothing but moan. We then came on the stream, and you appeared on the stream like you were in one of those panorama documentaries, like you'd been touched by someone when you were a kid. And so I could see you had the blind shut. I could just see the outline of your head. So I kind of knew there was someone there. It could have been anything. Could have been a basketball, and you were all in darkness, or like you were on. You'd employed a cowboy roofer to come and do your roof, but you didn't want to be embarrassed on national TV, although you did want to tell Dom Littlewood that your roof was fucked. And that's what you looked like at lunchtime. You were hungover, you were grumpy, and you said you had quite a tale to tell. So now, 6 hours later, Baz, I will return the ball into your court because you put the light on. I can see your little face now. What's wrong with you, son? Come on.
I'm all right. I'm just tired and I have a very sore throat. But this morning was absolutely
why though?
So I'm not hungover now. I don't suffer bad with hangovers generally.
Bear in mind, you took the piss out of me, and all the listeners took the piss out of me for about 3 days last week because I was hungover for about 96 hours.
But here I am. I feel fine, and I won't be whinging about it 3 days later. I'll be refreshed. So anyway, I was at a party last night. I went up to cater for my brother's ice hockey team presentation night. So I went, helped them out, took the barbecue up, done all the food, had a few drinks. I knew I had to be on the road 7 a.m. back to Nottingham, 3-hour drive. So I thought I'd be fairly sensible. So I didn't. I did. I had a fair skinful. I don't lie. I had a fair amount to drink. Plenty of food. Went to bed feeling absolutely fine.
Well, yeah, you would do because you were hammered.
But it was 2 a.m. in the morning. Woke up at 6:30. My head was absolutely pounding. I've never known a headache like it. So I'm bundling my things into the car. I find some painkillers in the kitchen, pick them up as them. pops to the shop, picks up 3 bottles of water. So I've got plenty of fluids for the journey. I'm just at this stage, banging headache and very, very tired. So I hit the road, gets about an hour down the motorway. I'm tired, I'm flagging. So I think, right, I'll pull in, stop at the services, I'll have a power nap. I'm a big advocate of a power nap. 10 minutes. Snooze.
Any kind of nap, Baz? Power, regular, off the club.
Yeah, it'll sort me right out. 10 minutes. So stopped in, 10 minutes, woke up, feeling better, big drink of water, a little bit of fresh air, and then back in the car. What followed, it would have been nice if it could have occurred then, whilst I was in the car park at the services. Because no sooner did I get back onto the A1, I'm going to be sick.
Oh, really?
Like, my stomach just went. I had no inclination for that first hour of the journey. There was no sickness. There was nothing. I felt okay. I just felt rough and tired. And out of nowhere, my stomach just went, this isn't staying down. And I'm looking around and I'm thinking, there's nothing in this car I can be sick in. There's, at this point, probably 2 miles to the next turn off to come off the main road. Obviously, I've got the hard shoulder on the left, but I'm looking behind me and there's massive big trucks and lorries. I thought, I don't want to be having to pull over onto this hard shoulder to vomit. Like. So I had the proper fear that it was just going to come out. Fortunately, I got off the slip road, and as soon as I got off the exit, there was a little sort of tucked away little road leading down to a farmer's gate, into a farm. So I pulls in there, opens the door, and just hurls everywhere.
Oh, Barry.
And then that just continued for about 5 minutes solid. Absolutely just hurled all over this farmer's field. Never known anything like it. And I'm very rarely sick, not with a drink, very, very rare. But honestly, absolutely wiped me out. So at 5 minutes, done, back in the car, right as rain, fresh as a daisy. Once it was done, that was it. By the time I get home, I have a bacon sandwich just to try and get me back on my feet. Go out to watch the daughter play football, good game of football, but I'm just knackered. I just want my bed. And then rush back from there to do our NFL stream. And as you know, I was just at that point very grumpy, very tired. It's still hurt, and I think it's from all the hurling to get this thing it up. So I can't talk very well. I'm just very tired now, but I feel all right. There's no sickness, headaches are gone, everything like that. But never known anything like it. Hurling at the side of the A1. But I made it. I'm alive. So, all's well and good.
You say I'm not a stranger to that, Baz, as you well know. I'm quite a big hurler. I used to be, actually. Sort of calmed down a little bit now. But yeah, I'm no stranger to that at all. And it's one of the only things that make you feel better. If you have a tactical chuck up, it can get you through the next hour and a half, no problem. Like, I think where we need to start tonight, Baz, is I've called it the 5-minute flex. We're going to have, Baz, but it's not a 5-minute flex of you or me or us or the show. I think it's a 5-minute network-wide flex of this show, every other show, every sport, and just about all of the listeners. Because everywhere you've looked around the Sports Gambling Podcast Network this week, people have just gone absolutely nuts. People have gone wild. And speaking of which, Frank Gallagher's just turned up in the chat. And we're going to get to Frank in a minute, because Frank is one of the catalysts for and this is the inaugural 5-minute flex segment of the show. So, starting with our picks from last week, Baz, you hit most things. I hit some things. I came out on top. Hungary was good. And my ladder, Doncaster Sutton, 5 goals, paid out at 4-1. So I did okay. But you ran through the EFL games on Saturday, didn't you?
Yeah, so I started off a little bit unlucky, really. Thursday night pick was the only one I got wrong. So 6 picks made, 5 winners. First one was Albania v Czech Republic, wasn't it? Albania go 1-0 up early on. I've got both teams to score. I'm thinking this is all right. Czech Republic are the favourites. They'll come back into it. Early red card for Czech Republic, and it got away. So that didn't win. But then we moved on to Friday night, France plus money, 6-5 to beat the Netherlands. That cashed. And then Saturday, 4 out of 4, 3 AFL picks. We had a 12:30 kickoff, both teams to score and over 2.5. That finished 4-1. And then a couple of team totals which hit. Put that in with the international pick, which was Hungary. 2-1 that went off in the end. We put it up at about 13-8 plus 157. Went off at plus 210. I think you got even bigger than that. Absolutely brilliant price against a team that beaten not long ago. Loads of people got in touch. A lot of people had the double on the internationals. They took the France-Hungary double, cashed that at about 6-1. But I've got the best. One of the best we've seen all weekend was Francis, who sent us his slip. He took the France game on the Friday night. He tagged on all 4 of my Saturday picks and hit the lot, just over 20-1, I think. So he had an absolutely great win there. Dylan on TikTok messaged me saying he'd hit winners. He'd parlayed a few of the EFL stuff, again with Hungary in there, and absolutely nailed that. So, yeah, good to see loads of people. Brian was another one in Discord. I know he'd got on some winners. That's what it's all about. Like, love weekends like this where people are getting in touch saying, got this, hit that. So, yeah, I think we're right to flex this week because we've done well. Another one from that show, Malcolm, you might remember. People need to listen right to the end because almost the last thing you said on that episode was baseball starts in 10 minutes. Get on the Phillies to go up the ladder, and they scored 10 runs. And the next morning, one of the lads from my fantasy football, Patrick, who was a Mackham, unfortunately, he messaged to say, just tuned in for the last 10 minutes of your podcast. Back to baseball. Paid for all my weekend. So, even the baseball picks on the Premier League Gambling podcast was gold. So this episode was absolutely outstanding. As you say, talking of the network, I just picked up a 25-1 winner because Kramer put on the NFL. His weekly first half parlay in the NFL just hit at 25-1. And loads of the Discord channel, the NFL channel, got on that. So, yeah, as you say, the whole network's on fire at the minute. It's really, really good.
Yeah, that was it. That was kind of the rest of my roll of honour. It was Aaron in the followed our NFL picks this morning when he was walking his dog. Matthews said he was going to take his mother out for a Sunday dinner if he didn't jib it because he backed France.
Aaron also got on the in the Discord. Aaron was saying he got on the total League 2 goals because we talked that up as well.
I counted them up last night when they were going through the bottom of the screen. I tried to count so I counted them up individually. I was just sitting there as they were going along the ticker. I was going 4, 5, 5, 5, 5. What did it finish on? Looks like to me it finished on about 112.
I think it was 40, but there was one game cancelled as well, I think.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what the line was at, but I know Aaron had got on it and done well off that as well. So I think he's had a very good weekend. I was going to mention the baseball props from the other night because that made me laugh. I stopped the ladder at 8. I went over 4.5, 5.5, 6.5. So I stopped at 7. There was 3 more rungs, Barry. I ignored the higher floors of the bet, so I'd done myself out of anything. But yeah, Kramer's first half parlay tonight. So yeah, I think long story short is, if you're having a look around the network, whether you're new to us relatively in this country or you're an existing network follower around the States, there's fun and winners to be had all over the shop, Baz. And it turns out that we are multi-sport threats, Barry. Yeah, as you say, we've done great on the NFL picks today. I put out 10-1 first touchdown scorer today as well on the NFL show, just to finish off a great weekend. If that's the flexing over, I'm going to put a shout out to Sam from Richmond.
Yes, he's on the list as well.
This week's listener of the week, as he's very kindly given us a glowing review on Apple Podcasts, accompanied with 5 stars, of course. Really is appreciated, Sam. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Everyone should be like Sam. Drop us a review on Apple, and you can get your shout out on the next show if you do so.
I've got a mild bone to pick with Sam, but
yeah,
I'm sure his review says he's 39, and listening to this show reminds him of listening to his dad and his mates.
He did,
which I don't think he meant it offensively, but how old does that make us sound, by the way? 39-year-old, we're the 39-year-old man's dad, effectively, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm not far off 39, like, so it is a little bit offensive.
Yeah. So if you want to change that, Sam, it's like listening to my peers. It's like listening to a couple of my peers talking in the pub would be an appropriate response. But we'll let you off. So yeah, good fun all along the board. I am on the NFL this afternoon, Baz. I got all my overs and unders mixed up. Just the column on the thing, I think it was so far down the where it says over under was off the top of the screen. So everything I wanted to go over, I then discovered halfway through the game I'd back to go under. So I then had to quickly reverse what I was cheering for. So that was a mild fiasco this afternoon, but it was all right. Might have cost us a tenner or something, but nothing flash. So we have made some picks for Monday and Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, in fact, in South America, or that might just be a runs after midnight type of thing. But we'll get to those once I've told you first about the SGPN Second Chance Survivor. I entered that this week. So if you're already knocked out of your existing NFL Survivor, don't worry, we've got you covered. So this is presented by Corey Pinkston. Sounds like a made-up thing, but isn't. And Barking Dog Properties. There's $3,000 up for grabs. Winner takes all. It starts this weekend, so sign up now. So that's next weekend, next Thursday night. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. Dead easy to play. Winning, you go through. Losing, you're out. You might as well have a pop. And also Underdog Fantasy. Great way to play alongside your favourite football team all season long. Scorchers is a new feature. Go 5 for 5 and pick them Scorchers. Enjoy a spicy 100x payout. For a limited time, Underdog's extending the first deposit bonus up to $500. $100,000 Sundays continue. 10 lucky winners winning 10 grand each. So watch along, make your picks, make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. Speaking of the devil, Baz, Sam has just turned up. I don't know if he was there. I think he was here to hear us pick apart his... okay. Sam's claiming it was a typo. His dad's 60. I'm still not thrilled about it, Sam, but it's at least you've turned up in person to explain yourself.
Yeah,
but Sam's in Virginia, I think, in the States. So, mate, thank you very much. We do appreciate it, and it makes us look good in front of the bosses as well. So tremendous. Internationals, Baz. I think it turns out we've picked, again, completely accidentally, 2 of the 3 same games in Europe, I believe. Normally we're on exact opposite sides of stuff, don't it? If history's anything to go by. So we'll start with where are we going? Monday night. The game is Belgium and Sweden, Barry, which is a 7:45 kickoff, 2:45 Eastern time. Belgium actually, line movement report. Belgium have drifted a little bit. They were 1-2 minus 200 when I handicapped this. They're now around about 4-6 minus 150. The draw is plus 280, 11-4-ish. And Sweden are 9-2 plus 450. And this for me, Baz, is purely a form line pick. If you get up the group standings and you get up the results in the group, you look at Belgium have won 5, drawn 1, scored 16, conceded 3, and have already beat Sweden 3-0 earlier in the campaign. Sweden have won 2 against Azerbaijan and Estonia, which are very, very functional wins, which they should win. And they've lost 3. The 3 that they've got beaten were against Belgium and the 2 games against Austria. And those 3 defeats were 3-1, 2-0, and 3-0. So the 3 games they've played against similar, the 3 comparison games, they've lost by 2 goals. They're in quite a low part of their cycle at the minute. I know Isaac's not there, which I'm pleased about. He's resting his hamstring up back on Tyneside. Belgium have been amongst the goals lately. They scored 3 in Austria on Friday night. Austria are a team we've had our eye on because they've been in good form as well. Lukaku scoring, and they're just a better team at home. I've taken Belgium on the handicap. It fits with every other bit of evidence that we've got. This fits. Belgium on the handicap, minus 1.5 goals. The price is 5-3 plus 167, and that was the price I handicapped yesterday or this morning whenever I did it. So it might even be a little bit bigger now because I say there's been a little bit of a drift, so I'll just try and drag that up. Yeah, 2.6 or plus 160. Yeah, so yeah, bigger price. Oh no, we're around about the same. Plus 167-ish. Belgium minus 1.5, Baz. Don't tell me you've gone the other way.
No, not at all. I'm very, very similar.
Ooh, good.
Little bit safer, but same reasons. Belgium have just found a bit of form lately, haven't they, since the World Cup, where they were very disappointing. They've, as you say, 16 from 6, scored 16 in that time, and already beaten Sweden 3-0 away from home. And Sweden are a long way back. You know, they've lost all 3 games against the better sides, the Belgium and the Austria. I mean, Austria was one we picked against Sweden. I can't remember the price, but it was a good price, Austria to beat Sweden, when we took them on a previous show. I think Belgium on the money line is a good price. If you're looking for any parlays, Belgium on the money line is not a bad pick at all. But I went Asian handicap, Malcolm, -1. So I've got Belgium -1 at plus 100, so around even money.
Okay.
Belgium win by 1, money back. But I don't mind yours at all. As you say, Sweden have lost by, all of the losses have been by 2 or more goals. Belgium are in good form. They're a better team. But yeah, the pick for me was, I was looking for something around even. So I've taken the -1 on the Asian handicap. Little bit of insurance against your pick, but I don't mind yours at all at a bigger price. But yeah, same thinking entirely.
Yeah, very much on the same lines. Bob's just walked in here. He's going to bed. I should have put Bob in the 5-minute flex earlier on. We travelled out to Hull yesterday, Baz, to represent Newcastle Schools. Bob got the nod and scored in a 2-1 win. Bob never scores. You know, like little kids, you see them in the paper, they've had a season where they've scored 112 goals. He scored about 3 in 5 years. Never scores. Stuck one in off the crossbar, and we beat Hull. So he got the assist for the second one. Won 2-1 away in Hull. 7-hour round trip for a game of football. It's a bit of a trek, Baz. But Bob scored. Bob, give us some knuckles. There you go. Now go to bed immediately.
Well done, Bob.
Well done, Bob. See you later. Yeah, so that was a fun trip. The game, Baz, you know Hull, don't you? Your partner and her family are Hullish.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't know there was a posh part of Hull, Baz, because where we played this game was very swanky, like really, really swanky.
It wasn't really in Hull. It was East Yorkshire, not quite as far into Hull as Hull, but yeah.
It's more, is it North Ferriby, possibly?
Yeah, it is nice out that way.
Isn't Pat Foster's a Hull supporter, I think, isn't he, off the top of my head? I wonder if he knows. But did I imagine that? Because you keep shaking your head. No, maybe I've imagined it. Yeah, North Ferriby was quite swanky, but I nearly fell off me chair when Bob stuck one in off the crossbar. Right, where do you want to go next? Do you want to you go next, Barry?
I'll jump in. I've got the Lithuania versus Hungary game. I ain't got the prices up.
You're hungry now. Hungary are favourites.
Because normally you have all the prices written down, so I don't have to.
Well, I've got them now. Do you want them?
Yeah, chuck the Lithuania-Hungary prices out for me.
Lithuania are 10-1. The draw is a shade over 4-1 plus 425. In Hungary, around about 3-1 on -300.
This is a very, very similar handicap to the one we've just done on Belgium and Sweden. We took Hungary last week in a tougher game than this. We talked about the great form they were in. Top of the group, 13 points. Serbia are 3 points behind them in second. And then Lithuania, who they're playing here, sit back on fourth on 5 points. Lithuania have picked up those 5 points against the sort of lesser teams of the group. Montenegro are an all right side, but Bulgaria and Montenegro are where they've picked their points up. The games they've played, very much like Sweden, when they've come up against the better teams in the group, the main contenders of the group in Hungary and Austria, they've lost the 3 games and they've lost each of them by a 2-goal margin. So it's exactly the same sort of form and same reasoning as the previous one. And it's Hungary on the handicap. Hungary -1.5 handicap at 4-5, -125. Just a fairly straightforward one. When Lithuania are losing against the bigger sides, they're all by a couple of goals. As I say, Hungary have already beaten them in the home game. I think they'll go over there in good form. Hungary, just keep riding it. They're playing well. Hungary minus 1.5 on the handicap, 4-5 for me.
And they've got some good players as well, Hungary. We mentioned it last time, but that Shalai up top, Solai, Sabozlai, obviously, we're more familiar with the Prem. Yeah, good players, Hungary. It's none of that's happening by accident. Like, my game is this is Monday night 2. Was your Lithuania Monday or Tuesday?
I think mine was
your Tuesday, Baz. So that Lithuania-Hungary game's Tuesday night, 7:45, 2:45 Eastern. And we're going back to Monday night here for Greece against the Netherlands. Greece 3-1. The draw 9-4 plus 225. And Netherlands, when I looked at this, were 21-20 plus 105. Have been nipped in 20th of a point to even money. In this group, France are away and gone. France having won that game on Friday night that we all backed them on. So you can take France out of that equation. I think they've won 6 out of 6, which leaves the rest fighting for sort of playoff places down there. And it's Netherlands and Greece that are fighting it out. And this is a really, really simple handicap, is that Netherlands are a better team, Barry. There's not much in the form lines here because both of these teams, everyone's battered Gibraltar, and the Republic of Ireland are really, really poor at the moment. They're really struggling. So you can't get a form line from any other game. The only real form line is the Greece-Netherlands head-to-head. 7th of September, so not very long ago, last time we had an international break, Netherlands beat them 3-0. And they were 3-0 up at half-time. They pretty much wiped the floor with them. They're not in great form, but they're just better. Greece are notoriously pragmatic to the point of being boring. And they have been for 1,000 years. Even when they won the Euros, they did it without scoring any goals. We only had one shot on target in that game, September 7. I just think the Dutch are too good, Baz. I mean, they ran France close. They lost 2-1 at the weekend. Decent game. Greece aren't at this level. It's a top tier international team against a 2.5, 2.5 tier. I just think Netherlands would beat them. And at the time, a little bit of plus money. It might creep back up, or you might find some plus money around. But even money or slightly higher for the Netherlands looks like a good bet, Pat.
Yeah, I looked at that one. I like the look of Netherlands as well. They'll definitely be a parlay player for me this week on the international stuff. So, yeah, I love that one. Next up for me is a one I know you've got as well. So you went first on the earlier one that we both had, which was Belgium. So I'll go first here with Northern Ireland versus Slovenia.
I'm really interested to see where you went with this, Baz, because I started off in one direction and ended up pretty much doing an about turn, zigzagged around the place. Have you got the odds for this?
No, if you can pop them out for me, that would be great.
Plus 260, 13-5 Northern Ireland, 21-10 plus 210 the draw, and 5-4 plus 120 Slovenia. This is Tuesday night, 7:45.
Yeah, so Slovenia are flying in this group, top of the group, 16 points from 7 games. They're still not qualified yet. Finland are only 4 points behind in 3rd place. So still all to play for Slovenia. They've lost just once. That was away to Finland, who are one of the other contenders in this group. They've won the last 3 games, scoring 11 in the last 3, including a 4-2 win against Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland they're just struggling. Their only points in this group have come against San Marino, and neither of those games were, you're expected to beat San Marino and you're expected to put a few goals past them. They won 2-0 and 3-0. Nothing amazing there. So they beat San Marino at the weekend, 5-0, I think. Sorry, 3-0, I think that one was.
3-0, yeah.
But before that, they'd lost 5 in a row. And they'd only scored 2 goals in those 5 games. They'd been shut out 4 of the 5, and they scored twice against Slovenia. I just think plus money for Slovenia here looks really, really interesting for me. 6-5 on the money line, plus 120. Slovenia. So that's going to be my main pick for this. But I like the team totals for Slovenia as well. And it's a little goal ladder for me. 13-8 for over 1.5 Slovenia goals. So it's a plus 167. Over 2.5 Slovenia goals, 11-2, plus 550. And over 3.5 is at 18-1. You laugh, Malcolm, but they put 4 past them.
I'm not laughing. I'm smiling in admiration at you.
Yeah, I mean, they put 4 past them recently. They've scored 4, 4, and 3 in the last 3 games. Scored 3 against Finland at the weekend. Finland are a better side than this Northern Ireland side. So yeah, let's get up the ladder. No reason why not. I think it's just. I know they're away from home. You know, it's not always going to be as easy, but I just think the prices are bigger than I expected on Slovenia. That they're a bigger price, and so they're a bigger price for the team goals. They're scoring well at the moment, and Northern Ireland are on a very good side. So yeah, get up the ladder. Over 1.5, over 2.5, over 3.5. We'll hit that 18-1 shot here.
I mean, how many times we've said, Baz, that you handicap a game in a certain way, but you've still got to land on the right bet. So what we've got here is, I've handicapped it exactly the same as you and come down with a different bet. So it's entirely possible that we could both be right and one of us win, both of us win, or none of us win. And I said last week I was looking for teams who had things to play for, rather than teams who just had to dial it in. Now, in Slovenia, they've got themselves in a really good position in Group H here. They're top. They're ahead of Denmark on goal difference. Won 5, drawn 1, lost 1. Scored 16 goals. And Northern Ireland really, really have struggled to win. If you look at the first half of the campaign, there wasn't many goals kicking around. But Slovenia have been in the goals lately. Beat Finland 3-0. It's a decent result. The 4-0 against San Marino was pretty standard. But crucially, I think that 4-2 against Northern Ireland, again, back on the 7th of September, just in the last break, is a good comp. They were 3-1 up at half-time. I came... which bet to take, Baz? You came down on your side. I thought the prices for the overs and unders were really lopsided, Barry. You like Slovenia goals here. The over 2.5 goals is plus 140, 12-5. Like the under 2.5 is 1-2. So again, possibly if it might finish 1-0. But I just think the prices are out of whack. Absolutely out of whack. I'd have them much closer to a pick 'em. Like I'd have them 10-11 each of 2. This over 2.5 also gives you the safety net of Slovenia battering them, which is the case you've just made as well. And that was my last point on my notes. So we're in exactly the same ballpark, Baz. And we'll take over 2.5. A Slovenia 3-0 win, Barry, would be a thing of beauty. So there we go. You done international-wise? You are, aren't you?
I have one more South American.
I meant European.
Yeah, done.
European. I desperately want the San Francisco 49ers to get duffed up here, Baz. There's 3 minutes left at 1 point in it. Munaf's locked them up for his double bubble on the pick. If I could do with Munaf spraffing 2 points on that. Because I've already locked mine up on Thursday night. Mine went in Kansas City. So I could do with Munaf blowing his stack here on the 49ers. Okay, we'll crack on. We'll head to South America via Game Time. Game Time are back. Getting you tickets for cheese. Tickets shouldn't be stressful. And Game Time are helping you sort that out. You can go to sport, music, comedy, theatre, last minute tickets, killer deals. You can just start getting hyped up for all the fun you're going to have without the stress. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time's got tickets right up to the day of the event. We saw Sean right behind the pylon in SoFi last week, enjoying his Eagles take down the Rams in LA. He used Game Time, great experience. So the thing to do is download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, redeem code CFBX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And finally, Hall of Fame bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame bets. Sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props and game lines. NFL, NBA, MLB and soccer. Historical stats and data for all of those is on there. And then you can use their revolutionary parlay optimizer to get all your players' hit rates for your bets, which players are hot, whose value, expected probabilities, all your players broken down by a leg, loads of mad stuff. It's brilliant. So stop betting in the dark. Join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame bets. So, South America, Baz, I spent a good 20 minutes today thinking, I'll tell you what, these lads are keen. They're World Cup qualifying, and they've already played 17 matches, and I handicapped quite a lot of them, and then realised I'd handicapped the qualifying for the last World Cup. So I ripped that page out my jotter, Baz. Like, between that and backing all the unders that I thought were overs, I've made some fairly rookie errors today, and I'm sitting here trying to inform people what to do with their money back. You what?
This is very early for World Cup qualifiers, though, isn't it? Like, the World Cup's just finished. For 4 years, and they're qualifying already.
Yeah, I love the South American system, though, Baz, because there's only, 10 countries, and they all just pay everyone.
Yeah.
One big league. Because when you open live score, like it's just autopilot, isn't it? Sort of twice a day, you'll click on live score to see what's going on. Well, obviously this week nothing was going on. Last Thursday, World Cup qualifiers, but it was like the extra preliminary Asian round. So it was like Krakatoa east of Java against the lost city of Atlantis and stuff like that. Like 0-0. They were all 0-0. Every game would finish 0-0. No one had bothered. Like Bhutan against Laos and that, just nouts each other across the board, and they've got to go through 7 preliminary rounds before they even get a crack at playing Oman or someone in a qualifier. But yeah, so there's I don't know what game you've picked. All the big boys are in action, Baz. Brazil, I didn't pick them. Argentina, I didn't go there. I have gone Wednesday right. So this must be Wednesday our time. It's midnight. So it must be 8:30 Eastern time on Tuesday night, I reckon. And it's Ecuador against Colombia, Baz, is my game. Yep. Did you know, Barry, that Ecuador is the smallest country through which the equator passes? Did you know this?
I didn't know that, but that's good knowledge. Well done.
And it's named after, Ecuador named after the equator, but is the smallest country. This is edutainment, people. Ecuador are 19 to 20, minus 105. The draw's 9 to 4, plus 225. Colombia 11 to 4, plus 275. So it's really early days. Turns out they haven't played 17 games, they've played 3. So it's early days in World Cup qualifying. The teams are still sorting themselves out, shuffling themselves into position. And these two sides are really evenly matched, Ecuador and Colombia. If anything, Colombia are a big price at 11 to 4, because there's not that much between the two sides. That's not where I've gone, though. I just used the recency bias. So last week, Colombia got a 2-2 draw in Uruguay. Uruguay are a good side. They've got a chance against Brazil this week, actually. Quite a big prize. Colombia got a 2-2 draw in Uruguay. Ecuador beat Bolivia 2-1. And then before that, Ecuador got a really good 2-1 win in Uruguay. So what I wanted to back initially was the Ecuador team total over 1.5. That's at 5 to 4, because I assumed that would be bigger than the over 2.5. And then I looked back, and the over 2.5 is plus 135, 23 to 17. So I'll get off that. I'll take the bigger price. It seems like a safer option, because you obviously pulls in a Colombia goal or even 2. Colombia could go and win 2-1. I think what's happened here is, Baz, the history of this fixture is really low scoring. 5 of the last 6 have gone under 2.5. There's a mad 6-1 thrown in there, oddly. But I think if you compare that to the recent history of how the teams are playing, it's a different thing. So I love this. At the over 2.5 goals, Baz, 23 to 17, plus 135.
Yeah, so I looked at these. I seen there were some games on Tuesday, some games on Wednesday, and I thought I'll leave the Wednesday because we've got a podcast on Wednesday. But not realising they were Wednesday early hours of the morning. So essentially for us, it's still the Tuesday games.
Yeah, what you've done there, Baz, is got it wrong.
Yeah, because I was tired today.
You were still whiting all over the side of the road.
There were 2 games, and to be fair, the game I have chosen is a Tuesday night UK time, 10 p.m, which is a game I can get involved in rather than a 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I'm happy with where I've gone. I've gone to the Venezuela versus Chile game, and I knew you wouldn't have this, so I've got the prices here. Venezuela are 17-10 plus 170. Chile 31-20 plus 165 or something like that. And the draw is 21-10 plus 210. And both teams 4 points in qualifying. They both played 3, won 1, drew 1, lost 1. So I want to have a little look at who they've come up against. And Chile beat Peru, drew with Colombia, a good result, and lost to Uruguay, who, as we said, are in some decent form under Bielsa. Venezuela had a draw with Brazil, 1-1 last week. Really, really strong result. And then they beat Paraguay and lost to Colombia. I quite like Venezuela here. I think the draw against Brazil was a strong result. The defeat against Colombia is their only defeat in 10 games. And they're underdogs here. And despite being at home, there's not a lot between the two sides in terms of recent form and things like that. So you're getting 17-10 plus 170 for Venezuela. Is a pick I like, but I also think this will be low scoring. Under 2.5 goals looks nailed on. 4-7, minus 157. So it's a bit short, but definitely one you can put in your accumulators, parlays, things like that. But I think we can be a bit bolder. Take under 1.5 goals here. It's 7-4 plus 175. 4 of the last 5 Venezuela games have been 1-0. The only one that didn't was the Brazil game, 1-1. So they're keeping games tight. They're keeping games low scoring. They're not scoring a lot of goals. They've only scored 2 in the game so far, but they've only conceded 2. And Chile have also had 2 0-0 draws in their last 4 games. So under 1.5 goals is the pick. It's 7-4 plus 175. And therefore, Malcolm, if you put them both together, Venezuela win under 1.5 goals. That means it can only be 1-0. So the correct score, 1-0 to Venezuela, is available at 13-2 plus 650. I'll have a little go on that. But yeah, the under 1.5, I think one team will nick this 1-0 or it'll be a 0-0. I like the under 1.5. I mean, I would say, South American stuff's not stuff I look at that often. A little bit out of my comfort zone, but, looking at the games and the form, I'm happy with the picks I've got. But yeah, tentative players, I would say.
Surely, Baz, hang on. I'm just in the Build-A-Bet feature here. I've put me hard hat on. I've set some cones out. I'm trying to... Right, hang on. You've gone what? Venezuela to win. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a correct score of 1-0.
Yeah.
Yeah. How have you not put Salomon Rondon to score that goal, Barry, in there? I mean, it's obvious, isn't it?
What does that get us to?
Well, I'm not very good at doing this. Hang on. I've got Salomon Rondon in there at 5-1. Bet builder. Result, hang on. This is great, this. Venezuela, yeah, Bosch. And double
under
chance.
1.5 or 1-0, whatever you want to, whichever way you want to do it. It's the same thing, isn't it?
1-0 to Venezuela. That, Baz, is a shit price. It won't let you do it, or you've got Rondon to score and Venezuela 1-0. It won't have their related contingency, aren't they? Yeah. So we'll get 20-1 for Rondon 1-0, which is a bit disappointing. That's
all right, though.
Well, yeah.
I don't think that's bad. We're only getting 13-2 for the 1-0.
He might get on Penno. I don't know if he gets on Penno. He's taken the odd free kick in Penno in his time for Newcastle, hasn't he?
That's worth a go at 20-1. Like, I don't mind.
There you go. We'll put it out. We won't mean it, but if it hits, we can. This is the sort of thing we can isolate and put out on Twitter as if we're geniuses. But right, okay, champion, well done. I think that's us covered. Is there anything else you need to tell the people about? Are you having your usual Sunday night glass of red wine, Barry, or are you not?
No.
That bad? No, that's got to be the first, hasn't it?
No, I had it all on Saturday night. I could be tempted with a glass of white tonight, actually. Something a bit more refreshing, so I might do. There is one in the fridge. I have got something else. Found something on the kitchen floor the other day.
Oh, if I had 1,000 guesses, I wouldn't have guessed you were going to say that.
Right. Well, funny enough, if I gave you 1,000 guesses as to what I found on the kitchen floor, you would never, ever get it. But I'm just going to give you one. So what do you think I found on the kitchen floor?
A frog.
Eh? Are you kidding me?
Is that correct?
How do you know that?
I don't. All I was going to say was, the only thing I can gauge is my experience in life, and I once found a frog on my kitchen floor, so that's what I've guessed.
I can't believe you got that,
mate. That is incredible.
People are going to think you've made this up. I could go out now in the garden and show you the dead frog.
Oh, a dead frog?
Oh, it's dead. Yeah, dead.
No, it was alive, the one I found. Not today. This was about 2001. Right, talk us through what happened.
Yeah, what are the chances of you guessing a frog? That's unbelievable. I feel like Helen's must have tipped you off or something.
Absolutely not. No, that is absolutely complete not a coincidence.
That's the most astonishing thing that's ever happened on this podcast in my mind. But
yeah.
Anyway, yes, Helen come in the kitchen. Helen says, "What's this on the floor?" And it was like black, but it was rock solid.
Right.
I picked it up and put it in my hand, and she says, "It looks like the shape of a frog." I said, "That's because it's a frog."
All right, David Attenborough.
Like rock solid, dried out, and like you turn upside down, and you could see the skeleton of it, but still some decomposed skin on it and everything. It was basically like a shell of a frog. How it got in the kitchen, I don't know. The only thing I can imagine is
do you think it perished in the kitchen?
No, I don't. I think because where it was would have spotted it before. I'd been in the garden messing around with barbecues and things, and we do get a lot of frogs in the garden. And I reckon it was already dead. It's died somewhere. It's dried out. It's been there for ages, and it probably got dragged in on the bottom of my shoe or something. And then as I've walked in the kitchen, I've kicked it off the shoe. The kids were pretty freaked out because they thought, "Why have we got frogs in the house?" I thought it was quite amusing. I can't believe you guessed there was a frog on the floor.
Well, no, going back to, I would say, August 2001, I was going out to football on a Sunday morning, went to get my kit bag, which I just ditched on a Saturday because I used to play Saturday and Sunday, and just sitting next to my kit bag, like some sort of guardian, some sort of shin pad guardian, was this frog just sitting there looking at us. All right, Mala. And I'm not very good at shit like you've witnessed on the podcast when there's been a spider in the same postcode as me. I had to get Betty to throw it out. So I think Helen Pretty had to come and evacuate the frog that morning before I could go to football. But yeah, that's the only reason I said frog, Barry, was it brought to mind that. Incredible time. Scenes, as the kids say, Baz. Absolute scenes.
Absolute scenes. What a prediction.
Well,
we are on fire at the moment, Malcolm. You know what I mean? That's just a continuation of the form we're in. Well done.
I've just said 1,000 to 1 shot.
Tell all the family now that you guessed that first time.
Yeah, and they won't believe us. This is the thing, Baz. No one will believe them. Us. No. Man. Right, what we're doing now, the Premier League's back next weekend, isn't it? Thank God. So we can stop talking about frogs and we can start talking about football. So what time do we do Wednesdays? 10 o'clock?
8:30.
8:30. 8:30.
Same time every single week, Martin.
The Browns have just kicked a field goal. Moonaf's going down. 8:30 on Wednesday. We'll regroup, Barry, have a word with ourselves, and we'll make some Premier League picks. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Again, I reiterate what we said at the top in the 5-minute flex. All the listeners who won stuff, and then all the listeners just turned in for the frog chat, the sausage chat, Barry being sick at the side of the road chat. And we very much appreciate it. Well done, Frank. Go and buy something nice. Get yourself something nice with your winnings. Back on Wednesday. And we'll see you down the road. And I will remember, Barry, to play the music.